Hello, and welcome to another session of the AUS training series, where all topics tie back to the key tasks identified in the AUS PD. The PD is our guide to understanding the expectations of an AUS, and as many of you know, does not limit our duties to exactly what the PD says. As we find ourselves navigating the many additional duties the PD may infer we engage in. This class series focuses on skills and topics that you will need to know and understand about FITARA and the BTT. We're going to do that because if we can get the fundamentals covered, our customers will enjoy a struggle-free relationship between the contractor, the contracting officer regarding the creation and submission of contracting packages. In this class, we will look at the single most important task that we do, and that is working with requirements packages and, when required, submitting or assisting with the FITARA process. We will talk about what FITARA is, briefly, how the AUS gets involved with FITARA and the BTT application, and why the AUS must keep up with all BTT submissions from their facility. I am Martin Wallace of Wisnik AUS, and I will be your guide through this topic. I spent 5 years as a Corps of the Department of Navy and 2 years as an AUS for the VA. I'm currently Corps 2 and FACSI 1 certified. In case the term Wisnik is new to you, it stands for Western States Network Consortium. Speaking of me asking you questions, I've already got one for you. What is FITARA? So the intended audience for this class is the AUS, and our task and purpose will get us to our desired outcome. Our task is to familiarize the AUS with the importance of FITARA, its relevance to requirements packages, and demonstrate how to use the application. Our purpose is to ensure the AUS is an expert guide for customers with IT or IT-related requirements. And our desired outcome is that attendees will learn what FITARA is, why FITARA is used, and understand how to submit a package. We will meet our task and purpose by looking at topics such as what is the AUS role, what is FITARA, what application do I use, what information do we need, what forms do we fill out, and we will work an example. I checked the AUS PD to see what it had to say about requirements packages, and here are a few key lines I found. As we can see from the quotes, the AUS is the expert at pre-award issues such as contract planning, including planning for contract implementation and oversight, the details of which must be appropriately documented in supporting artifacts. Now, there is no mention of FITARA within the PD, but that is a required approval for acquisitions associated with IT or IT-related requirements. So as resident acquisition professionals, it is our duty to know how to navigate FITARA and how to use the application provided. To ensure contracting knows our IT or IT-related acquisitions were properly reviewed and approved. The last two lines are critically important in that we are charged with reviewing all requirements, packages, and documents to make sure they are accurate and complete. As an integral part of being a good document reviewer is being a good document writer. We need to know how to gather and communicate all the details that contracting will need to buy what our customers want. We know what right looks like when documenting the details. In theory, contracting can do the job of the AUS because the regs do call for COs to be involved in the acquisition process early on. In practice, however, contracting doesn't even want to know or hear about our contract requests until we submit them through FORCE. But when we do submit our requests into FORCE, contracting expects them to be complete to include FITARA approval. If the FORCE package is not complete, then contracting will kick your package back. This is not the time the AUS wants to get involved, as we should be involved long before the contract package was submitted to ensure the package is complete, states the need clearly, and all documentation required is provided. Contracting in 2008 separated from the facilities. This hurts the VA's acquisition capability, so in 2016, the VA created the AUS to fill the gap. We are our facilities acquisition experts. This means quality control is up to us if we want our packages to get worked instead of canceled. By making sure the requirements packages we send in are top notch, we help our customers meet the mission of caring for our veterans. In 2014, Congress created the Federal Information Acquisition Act. So why was FITARA developed? FITARA was developed to modernize and strengthen federal information technology acquisitions and operations, and significantly reduce wasteful spending and improve project outcomes. So why is this important to you? Each year, the VA is assessed via a scorecard to measure the VA's compliance with FITARA. Each of us play our part in the overall mission success of the VA. FITARA is one of those parts, and it is our duty to assist OIT, contracting, and the VA by complying with requirements of FITARA. This will allow us to better serve our veterans. Office Management and Budget defines an IT requirement as any service or services on agency-owned network, interconnected system or systems or subsystems, and data or information used by the agency. Some examples are computers, servers which operate the agency's network, hard drives used for data retention, storage, and data manipulation, software that will operate on the agency network. What IT does not include, if it does not fall into an identified PSC, then it probably is not an IT or IT related requirement. An IT related requirement is a product or service funded outside of the congressionally managed IT appropriation and can be identified by using the PSC manual. IT related requirements can range from software, hardware, or medical equipment. This can be standalone. It can be the purchase of visitor wireless internet capability, normally found in classrooms or lobbies. As you can see, the word related has a broad scope, and the reason your knowledge of FITARA will be helpful is your customers will have these very questions for you, and you will be ready to answer them. So far, we've discussed what FITARA is, why it's important, our role as the AUS with FITARA, and what an IT and IT-related requirement is. Our next subject will assist us in figuring out what category our IT and IT-related requirements fall into. This next subject is important and does have an overarching role in the recording of our future procurements. Let's test your knowledge and ensure everyone is still with me. What does the acronym PSC stand for? The acronym PSC stands for Product Service Code. Let's discuss what a product service code is and what it's used for. The PSC is provided code describing products, services, and R&D purchased for the federal government. These codes indicate what was bought for each contract action in FPDS. I provided a link for you to access the PSC manual on the acquisition.gov website, highlighted in purple. Let's go on a safari and look at the PSC manual. So currently, we're on the acquisition.gov webpage where we can find our product and service code manual, the PSC manual. As you can see below, there are a few options for you to select from. You have a Word document or a PDF. I'm going to select the Word document now. And this is your Federal Procurement Data System, FPDS, Product and Service Codes, PSC manual. Some things that you're concerned with in this manual are your product service codes, research and development codes, service codes, product codes, and then your appendices. Appendix 1 covers R&D, 2 IT PSEs, 3 service PSEs, and so on. Our concern is Appendix 2, and that begins about the bottom of page 24. Category D, IT and telecom information, technology and telecommunications. This is where our appendix for IT begins. You can see there are various PSE codes and definitions or descriptions of what those PSE codes may cover. You can use these to help you figure out where your IT or IT related item may fall out within the PSE code. There are other codes to help you figure out other things, but we're not necessarily concerned with, such as Category E, purchase of structures and facilities, and you can find some other descriptions in here. At the bottom of this, though, at the bottom of the PSE manual, you will find a crosswalk between IT and IT-related items. So feel free to take a look at this manual and use it to the best of your ability. Let's go back to the slides and continue on with our slide presentation. We've covered the basics to this point, and I'm sure we are all experts now. Let me recap some of the previous points before we move forward. We talked about FITARA, what it is not, the AUS role concerning FITARA, what an IT and IT-related requirement is and is not, what the PSE codes are used for, and where they are recorded. Why have we discussed these points? They all have to do with the introduction to our next piece of the puzzle. Next, we will explore the application used by OIT to collect all this FITARA data. So now we'll move on to the BTT application. Can anyone tell me what BTT stands for? BTT stands for the budget tracking tool. This provides a standardized method of budget management and execution across a diverse group of organizations and accounting activities. The budget tracking tool application was designed to create initial operating plans to track yearly budget execution. I provided a link, again, highlighted in purple for you within the slide to access the budget tracking tool application. There are two pieces to the BTT application. The application itself, which is called the budget tracking tool, and the ARM. What does the acronym ARM stand for? ARM stands for the Acquisition Review Module. This resides within the budget tracking tool application. The ARM is the actual package you populate with your acquisition data for review and approval. So let's go on a Safari and look at the budget tracking tool. Here we are at the budget tracking tool. This is the first page you'll see after you log in. I'd like to walk you through some options that are available to you on this main page. Starting in the left-hand corner under the budget tracking tool, you have execution. Under execution, you can create a requisition package or view a requisition package list. You have reports. The main one you're worried about here is an ad hoc reporting tool, which will allow you to print up a Excel spreadsheet of all of the submissions for your facility. You have quick links, the dashboard, which we're looking at now. In the news, which is information about FITARA. Video tutorials, which are other videos you can use to walk yourself through the use of the budget tracking tool and how to fill out the acquisition review module. You have a quick reference card and another option to contact the help desk. You have a user account where you can adjust permissions or change the user info. In the right-hand corner, you have a button up here where you can contact the help desk, or you can log off. But as we advance through the main page of the budget tracking tool, you'll see that you have a green create requisition button, which we will discuss here later in this training series. We can talk about the view menu. You have all or inbox. When you first log on, it's in inbox mode. It presents all of the submissions currently that are needing attention. Anything in red has been in the system longer than 6 days, and you have the acquisition identifier where you could type in information. If you wanted to look at, say, VISN 20, you would type that information there, VISN 21, 22, or the division that you are currently attached to. You can look up files by coming over here to the right under Creator Requisition Package. If you want to look at what Martin Wallace was doing, your instructor for this training, you could put my name in there and hit enter, and it will return some queries with stuff that I've placed in there. You have your ARM requester. Same thing. You could put my name in there, and it will return your query and show you the packages that I've submitted. Right here, you have strategic sourcing and frequently asked questions. This has to do with the budget tracking tool. And if you're having issues with filling out your ARM, you can go here. There's a step-by-step guide also here that will walk you through filling out the ARM. And there is a small video tutorial about how to fill out the ARM also. So lots of good information to help you navigate the budget tracking tool. Now that we're back from Safari, on this slide, here's a quick recap of the points we discussed on the main page of the budget tracking tool. Here's another view to remind you of the features available to you. You can contact the help desk. You have strategic sourcing and frequently asked questions. You have an ARM help button, view. Please remember to change that from inbox to all when you're searching for a submitted package. You can create a requisition package. You have the acquisition identifier column, your creator requisition package, ARM requester requisition package, and your execution year. So far, we've discussed FITARA, the AUS role, what an IT related requirement is not, and I've introduced you to the budget tracking tool and the acquisition review module. So let's take another safari to demonstrate how to correctly fill out the acquisition review module application. So as I mentioned previously, if we wanted to create a requisition, we would click the requisition button. And this takes us to our next page, create requisition package. Here we have some specific information that we must provide, and all of that data is marked by a red asterisk. Those are must provide information. So we walk through here. I will apply the information as if we're going to purchase Computrition for Vision 20. Select the project NA. We will not select any of these. These are all Office of Strategic Sourcing, various teams, and the work that they would be working on. In this case, we would select NA. We give a title to our ARM package, Vision 20 Computrition. List our funding source, which would be VHA. There are some others that we can select from, as you can see. Federal Health Center, Joint Fund, Franchise Fund, GIF Supply Fund. We are concerned with VHA. You'll put an email address, and you'll list a description. My description would be quite vague for this training, but you would want to put a more specific description of your acquisition. This will just give you an idea of what you can put in the description block, but you have up to 1,000+ characters you can use. We'll come down here to the acquisition planning tab where we'll fill out the procurement classification. In this situation, I'm going to mark IT related. The type of acquisition will be software. We're going to add an action. Over here, in this sense, we're going to mark it as a new contract. But you have several other options. You can select from an option period. You can select modification, or this could be a task order or delivery order. You can even mark purchase card down here or undefinitized action. In this sense, we'll go back to new contract and update our field. And our product service code. Let's say it's a business application software perpetual license 7821 is what I'll mark for this example. Program need date, we'd like to have this by August 31st. Estimated action amount, this is for the first performance period. So we're going to say it was $150,000. And then estimated total contract lifecycle amount would be $750,000 because that would be a base plus 4 years. Then we'll come over here to the acquisition execution tab. Select our dates from the 31st of August until the August 30th. The core will be Martin, Wallace. And our PM could be myself again. Go back to the acquisition planning tab. Ensure that you filled out all the needed information. Hit save. At this point, you will see that your ARM package has added some additional information that you're required to fill out. These areas are now marked by a purple A. We must provide the information for the contracting site, VHA and CO20 at this point for me. Place your station code. Come down here into the acquisition planning. We have some more information, acquisition category that we must apply. And this is where they'll ask if it's a medical device, other software as a service, software license and maintenance. That's what we're concerned with for this particular purchase. I did learn about this in Veterans Focused Integration Process, VIP. The only time you'll mark this yes would be if you have an IT related requirement, such as, for example, you would change that to yes for if you were buying guest internet access. Comcast and other ISPs are not listed in the TRM website. So if you mark this yes, that tells OIT they don't have to do a technological review on this submission. You'll mark the competition site type. It's either NA, 8A set aside, full competition. In this situation, I'll mark 8A set aside. We'll move down here to the contract lifecycle. Is it a base year? Is it a base +1? Are there progress payments going on? We'll mark a base because we're stating this is a new contract. Our acquisition vehicle could be 1358, a BPA, cost transfer. Just looking for some information. IDIQ type contract, open market, a purchase card. In this sense, I'll mark NA. If you have your planning ID from Force, you'll help you find your within the budget tracking tool. You will put the other identifier here. Make sure your program need date is correct. Your action amount is correct for both the first performance period and the estimated total contract lifecycle. We'll come over here to the next acquisition execution tab. Ensure that information is filled out correctly. Move to your acquisition review tab, in which case here you've got a button. This takes you to the document repository. You'll click the button, and here you'll find an opportunity to load up your IGCE or your quote, and then also the product description, which would be your PWS or your statement of work or salient characteristics document that you would place here. You would hit save, and you'll return to your acquisition planning tab. Now, this is my opportunity to talk to you about this TRM URL, which is highly important to the success of your ARM submission. So let's click on the Visit TRM website. This is a button that takes you out to the TRM website. And this, your technical reference model. This allows you to research your product. In this sense, we're looking for computrition. And you will spell out, whatever product you're looking for. Like at this point, computrition, you hit the search button. I must have spelled it wrong. I did. Okay. So we requested a query on computrition. As you can see below, it returned quite a few returns on computrition. So I'll walk you through this. Here's the name of the product that you submitted. Here are the vendors that could supply this, your required product or service. Here's the status. The status is if anybody has put in a request to have OIT review a product, service, software, hardware, your status will be listed here. And then you have a decision date and when the status was approved, rejected, resolved, or completed. So in this sense, we're looking for the Computrition Hospitality Suite Exchange Gateway. The vendor is Computrition. The analysis under the status bar is completed, and that was back in April 28th of 2021. So you'll click this link, and it will take you out to the information that they found, that they provided about Computrition Hospitality Suite Exchange Gateway. As you can see, we have several tabs that we can review information on. Your general tab will provide you general information about the Computrition Hospitality Suite. Your decision tab will tell you the vendor release information, the latest release, current decision matrix. This is what is most important to you. Can this be used on the VA network? As you can see, version 21.x is approved to be used on the VA network from second quarter calendar year 2021 through 22 and calendar year 2023. This product in the fourth quarter is approved to be used on the VA network with constraints. The constraints, decision constraints, are listed down here. And as you do your research for your products or services, you can review those at your leisure. The next tab is your reference tab. This would give you any release notes related to the product. If there are any components listed with it, these would be listed here. License, it basically tells you what type of license it is commercial license. Categories, what it's used for, food service operations, nutrition. This is the tab that will list all the requests related to your product or service, and then you have an analysis tab. But the one tab that you are concerned with as a user of the budget tracking tool and the submitter of your acquisition review module application is this decision tab. This URL is the most important piece of your ARM package. This is you want to ensure that you copy this URL correctly and apply it in your ARM package right here where it says TRM URL. If you do not use the correct TRM URL, OIT during a technological review will return your package and ask you to list the correct URL. So remember, you can find that correct URL right here on the decision tab. So now that I'm back on the TRM page, I wanted to go back to the VA TRM home page and walk you through a little bit of this information. Should you have a product or service that is not listed, you can submit a request for evaluation. This is a request that has several questions about the product or service that you're searching for, or you would like to have in the database for the TRM manual reference model. You would submit this to OIT. OIT would do a review and send you a response. If you have a question about the VA technical reference model, you can click this button here. If you have any subscriptions with them, you'll manage those here. If you want to watch some training videos on how to use TRM, this is a great resource right here. I've used them myself. And if you have any questions, first check the frequently asked questions and then question in. Okay. Now that we've filled out all the required information for your acquisition review module, and we've listed the correct TRM URL. At this point, you would hit your Submit for Acquisition Review button. I am not going to do this as this is just an example. I'm not actually purchasing Computrition. So we'll return to the slide presentation. And we'll discuss a recap of your needed information. You'll fill out the header level, acquisition identifier, title, funding source, requisition package description. Then you'll fill out the acquisition planning tab, procurement classification, acquisition action, list the PSC, specify the program need date, estimated action amount, estimated total contract amount, then you'll hit click save. And here is just a quick recap of the TRM. The link is provided to you here in green, and it's how to use the search menu, how to look at the tabs, most of all the decision tab, and ensure you copy the correct URL from the ARM submission. So before we move forward with the training, let's review what we've covered thus far. We have talked about resources available to you within the budget tracking tool. We've talked about how to view a submitted requisition, even if not your own. We've walked through an example together on how to submit an ARM request for approval. We've covered the various data points required, and we've stressed the need to submit all required documents for the document repository. So if your VISN or your facility has not established an ARM requester reviewer list, then you, as the AUS, can do this by contacting the help desk. The help desk will provide you this Excel spreadsheet, the ARM requester reviewer spreadsheet. You'll fill the required information out. As you can see, mine is filled out. I've redacted some information, but you'll have to provide all this information. And once you fill this out and provide all the information, you'll submit this document to the help desk, and the help desk will develop your ARM requester reviewer permission for your facility. So in summary, knowing what FITARA is an AUS job. We help our customers navigate the budget tracking tool to buy IT and IT related items. Securing FITARA approval before submission of a requirements package prevents contracting from returning the requirements package. And an approved FITARA package helps your customer manage their budget and provide better care for our veterans. As always, here are some future study opportunities for you to look for further understanding of the subject. In TMS, there are 2 additional videos listed here. One is an overview and one is an awareness video. Both are about 25 minutes long and provide some fairly good information about FITARA. And if you're interested in furthering your knowledge about FITARA, these are 2 videos that are a good place to start. So for my last question to you, my beloved and exceedingly good looking and above average in every respect audience, did you find this class help you feel more comfortable with FITARA and the budget tracking tool and the acquisition review module? I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and hope you got great value out of this class. This is the end of what I have to say. So please have